Hey guys, so it's been about 2 months since I've made a video and I am so sorry. I've made actually a couple of videos since then, but then I ended up rewatching them and not liking them, and I just really wanted to make a video that was a little bit more professional in a sense, but I just haven't had time, to be honest with you. So I will start off saying that Veyda will be 2 months Friday, and here she is. Say we talk to mommy now, and we're very much awake, and we sleep all night. Yes. Are you gonna say hi to everybody? Yeah. Oh no, you're okay. And then her last appointment we had a week ago. Oh, we had a week ago. And she was 10.7 pounds and 23 inches long, which is in like the 97th percentile. So she's really long, which I'm 5'7", which is above average for a female, I think. My mom's 5'8". My sister is really short. So, and Kyle's actually short for a guy. He's the same height as me. So, I'm not really sure where she gets her height from, unless, you know, I'm just honestly not sure. But, are you looking at mommy? But she's been growing great. You trying to poop? So we had started breastfeeding. I strictly breastfed her for the first 2 weeks. Then I started pumping because it kind of started wearing down on my psyche, to be honest with you. Just not being able to get any sleep because Kyle couldn't feed her. And since, you know, since I was awake feeding her anyway, there was no point in waking up for diaper changes because every time she needed to eat, she needed a diaper change. So at the beginning, you know, she was up probably every hour, cluster feeding, trying to bring my milk in. And I was just to the point of breaking. So I had gotten a pump, and I started pumping, and I was doing fabulous. I was getting about 7 ounces every 2 hours, which was an overflow at that point because she was only drinking maybe an ounce or 2. So I built up a really good stash in my freezer. And then we started using that, and I still pumped at the same amount of time, but my supply was decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. And I'm assuming it has to do with my PCOS regulating my hormones, because a lot of women with PCOS can't produce milk because we have too much testosterone, and it typically ceases milk production. So my supply kept decreasing. We had to use more and more of the freezer stash, and eventually we used it all up, and I wasn't keeping up with her demand because my supply was decreasing, her need for more was increasing. So we ended up having to supplement formula. She wasn't gaining the proper amount of weight either. Which she was never at the point of where they told me I had to supplement formula. But she was a little bit under what she should have been gaining. And I decided to supplement formula because I just wasn't producing enough. I kept pumping. I'd done multiple things to try to increase my supply, and it wasn't working. So I still pump. I actually still pump about at least every 4 hours, sometimes every 2 hours. I still latch her before I feed her formula. She feeds for about 5 minutes on each side, but she's not getting much. I can tell she's not getting much because she still finishes off a 4-ounce bottle after that. So when I do pump, I only get like 2 ounces now, if that. Last night, I'm pretty sure out of both breasts, I got 1 ounce at one pumping, and then the pumping 2 hours before that, I got 3 ounces. So it varies between like not even an ounce and sometimes 3 ounces is like the max that I'm able to pump at one session from both breasts. And I've tried a hand pump, I've tried hand expressing, I've tried everything, and I'm not looking for advice. Please, I've talked to multiple lactation consultants and friends and groups on Facebook and things like that. So this is something that is just happened, and I'm okay with it. So, I mean, she's just staring me down. Hi. So, there's that. So I've been really busy with that, really exhausted with that. I had really bad headaches postpartum for 2 or 3 weeks. I ended up going to the ER because they were scared that it was like a preeclampsia type thing. But everything was good. My blood pressure was great. Everything seemed to have weighed out really nicely. So they ruled that out, and they're like, you're probably just tired and dehydrated. And I was like, yeah, probably. They went away around 4 or 5 weeks postpartum. About 6 weeks, they came back differently, though. Sharp pains, dizziness, flashes in my eyes, things like that. But it's not preeclampsia. My blood pressure's great. All those, so it's not preeclampsia, but we didn't know what it was. So they sent me to my primary doctor. Primary doctor said I had a lot of fluid in both of my ears, that it was a sinus and a double ear infection. But me being like overly cautious, and I was like, yeah, but is that causing like my headaches and my like vision changes? Like that doesn't seem right. And she's like, no, probably not. So we went ahead and did a CT scan just to make sure. Everything came back great though, thankfully. They said that only thing my CT scan showed was a lot of pressure in my sinuses. So that's probably what it was. Now, as for like my vision, I'm not sure. My headaches, they said it's probably related to the pressure in my sinuses and my ears, because they're not headaches, they just come and go. They're like just real sharp and they come and go. Zara, stop licking her. They like to lay like right next to her. And anyway, so my vision, I'm not sure. That started, if you guys remember, it started like really early, like 10, 15 weeks pregnant. So, that being said, I'm going to have to schedule an eye doctor's appointment anyway, because my vision has gotten worse. And they'll probably dilate my eyes and make sure that everything's okay. So, sorry guys, my sinuses are draining. Anyway, so we all have appointments, the end of January. So next week, her 2-month appointment is actually on her 2 months. So, she'll be 8 weeks Friday. So it depends on what you consider 2 months, 8 weeks or the 24th, the day she was born. Because, you know, months have like 30 days, 31 days. So it's not exactly 4 weeks. Are you laying down next to your sister, Zara? Guys? Anyway. So I have an appointment because when I was pregnant, my cholesterol was really high. They said it was probably pregnancy related, but they wanted to double check. They're gonna want to check my A1C levels, even though my diabetes have went away. I don't feel like shit after eating anything with sugar. I've been testing my blood sugar levels because I'm not doing that fucking test again, and everything seems good. So, with that being said, my appointment's coming up. So her 2-month appointment is the 24th, where she'll get her shots. And then the 25th, I have an appointment, to just like a basic postpartum checkup. I was prescribed Lexapro for my depression and my anxiety. It has gotten so bad, guys. Mainly my anxiety. Like, depression has shown its face in different ways. I've had depression for a very long time, but it is depression in the sense of anger, mainly. Yeah. I get frustrated very easily with everyone and myself. I used to have anger problems when I was a kid. I went through anger management. It was something that I kind of grew out of, honestly. Anger management didn't really help. What? What? Say hi, guys. Say hi. But anger management didn't really help, so it's something I grew out of. But it feels like it's coming back. I just feel very, very angry and frustrated. I get frustrated very quickly with little things, even like, dropping, I don't know, like a plastic cup when I'm doing the dishes, or knocking something over, or stubbing my toe, or just a lot of little things I've just been getting very frustrated with, just really, really easily too. And they said that was common with postpartum depression. I do, of course, I have crying spells, and I have just moments where I break down, but it's more frequently anger than it is the depression side. Anxiety is terrible. I can't drive. I have severe panic attacks while I'm driving now. My anxiety has gotten significantly worse since I've had her, which is extremely unfortunate. Let's see if I can. Okay. Anyway, so anxiety has gotten worse. So the doctor's appointment's also for that. Since I'm almost 8 weeks postpartum, it's definitely something that I need to see a therapist about. I was prescribed Lexapro through my OB, but I would rather try the therapeutic route before I go on medication. And, that's just something that I would like to do. You guys know how I am about medication. So probably discuss that at the appointment. Let's see. I mean, she's very colicky. She just has these moments. I've had a lot of trouble with the formula. Yes, haven't I? Yes, I have. We originally switched her when we first started. We started her off on Gentlese, and she did good on it. Like not spitting up, not like fussy, that kind of thing. She was gassy, and remember, like, this is the first time I've ever been really around a baby at all. So she was really gassy, and I didn't know that was normal. She'd like grunt, like she wouldn't cry or anything, but she'd like make faces and grunt and stuff, and she had a lot of gas. And when I started switching her to formula, she wasn't pooping as often as she was on just my breast milk. So like I was dumb, and once I finished out the formula that I had, I switched her to Similac Sensitive, because I was like, okay, she's just really gassy, and it just like upset me to see her like constantly grunting. Like I couldn't sleep because all throughout the night she was like like grunting and like moving her, like she just seemed uncomfortable. So I was trying to make her comfortable. Similac Sensitive we didn't even finish because she got gassier on that. So I thought like maybe it was like a milk intolerance. So, I mean, at this point, I'm still doing like 50-50. Like, I'm putting her to the breast, I'm pumping, I'm feeding her my pump breast milk. Like, I'm giving her as much breast milk as I possibly can, but she's still about 50%, sometimes 75% formula fed, depending on how much I can get out. So anyway, so I was like, well, maybe it's a dairy intolerance. I eat a massive amount of dairy during the day. So I was like, well, maybe, my breast milk was making her gassy, so I kind of stopped that for a while and switched her to soy, which was where I really, really went wrong. She got super, super constipated. And at first I thought she was constipated because she wasn't pooping as often and she was gassy. And yes, I talked to my pediatrician about every single one of these switches, so don't give me shit about it. And I thought, like, okay, well, for sure she's, like, probably really gassy or whatever. I was like, she has to be constipated. But when she pooped, it was still like, like normal baby poo. Well, the soy constipated to the point of where it was like adult poop. It was hard, coming out in like logs. Like, it was not baby poop. It was constipation for a baby. So I'm like, well, son of a bitch. It was like thick, like clay, almost like real thick clay. So I'm like, well, fuck. So I took her immediately. As soon as I seen that, I took her immediately to the pediatrician. I was like, look at this. What do I do? She's like, okay, well, soy typically constipates babies, so just take her shit off of that. She was only on it for about a week. So, here, bugger. So, took her off of the soy, and we went back to Enfamil Gentle Ease. And she did good on that for a while. She did good on that for a while. We had her on that for 2 weeks, and this is just coming up recently. We had her on it for about 2 weeks, and her poo started becoming more normal, but she wasn't pooping as often. She was pooping about every other day, which I was told was normal. Sometimes she went like 3 days without pooping, but her poop wasn't like hard, so we were told it was okay. So the Enfamil was working, or the Gentle Ease was working. Well, then, for some reason, last week, she started getting hard poops again. Like hard poops. But it was weird because she would have, like, the first part of her poop would be, like, a hard ball, and then the rest of it would be, like, regular, mushy, liquidy baby poop. It was just really weird that it would start off, it was almost like it would get stuck somewhere and get really hard, and then when she got that out, she could get the rest of her baby poop out. It was just really weird. So, took her back to the pediatrician about that, and they were like, well, she's had constipation for a while. She's like, break off a really small piece of a glycerin suppository when she starts to get really, like, grunty, and, like, she was turning, like, red. Like, she would push so hard. And she'd only poop, like, every other day, if that, and it would be that hard poop. So she's like, start giving her suppositories. If they don't work, or if she's not finding relief by them, then give her, like, a little bit of prune juice, which I'm super, super, super skeptical about. This was just last week. We had this talk. So I went and got her glycerin suppositories. Here. I got her infant glycerin suppositories. They're about this long. I break off, like, a corner of it. Like that small of a piece of it. Like, super, super small. And they're even for infants. She told me to cut them into quarters and do that. I underdose because I am not comfortable with medication. I'm not comfortable with giving her medication. But I'm even more not comfortable giving her prune juice. I don't think her belly is ready for that yet at this point. Some people have, she even said, like, I could give her an ounce of water. Not comfortable with that at all at this point. She's not bleeding. She's not constipated to the point of where, like, she's not pooping at all. So I'm just not comfortable or ready to make the step to a prune juice. The glycerin suppositories I have given her, I'll put it up there, and she'll poop probably within an hour. And she actually poops out a large piece of the suppository. It doesn't even melt all the way, so I'm comfortable to know that she's not even taking the very small dose that I am giving her, and it's helping her tremendously. So I probably only do that every now and then. It's not something I do every day, and it's not something I do multiple times a day. Just when I notice that she's kind of upset and she's unable to poop by herself. They did tell me I could switch formulas if I wanted to. I explained to them, like, okay, well, how long do I wait between formula switches? Is it going to upset her stomach? Like, I asked all those questions. She said that, to be honest with you, changing formulas isn't going to really upset her stomach unless she has an irritability to that specific formula. Like, if she tolerates Enfamil and Similac the same, then I could switch every other day, and it would not affect her at all in terms of, like, upsetting her stomach by having different formulas. Because breast milk, I eat something different every single day. So she is actually getting something different every single day. The nutritional value remains the same, but there are still certain things that are going to change. So switching up formula, since there's not a whole lot of change in between formulas to formulas, unless you say don't switch soy and, like, milk-based, or, don't change the bases, but if they're both, like, cow-based, it's not going to affect her for the most part, unless she has an intolerance to it or an irritability to it. So I had made the choice to switch her from Gentley's to Gerber Good Start Soothe. I did a lot of research in it. It has a probiotic, and it had like 100% of the proteins already broken down for her stomach. So I was like, okay, this has to work. I had a friend who switched from breast milk to formula, and this was the only thing that her baby could have. So I'm like, well, let's do that. You know, let's try it and see if it's easier for her to digest, and that'll work. So I switched her for 3 days. The first day, she was on only that for the whole day. At night, she screamed for hours and hours and hours, inconsolable hours. Was not happy, could not be calmed down, just screamed. I had no idea why. So, the next day I decided to do the Gerber and the Enfamil every other bottle. And it actually helped, but after, you did a boop. But after the Gerber at night, after the last bottle I gave her of Gerber at night, she would scream. And I could hear, it felt like she had like a bubble trapped in her throat, like you could hear her trying to swallow. Like she wasn't choking or anything, but every now and then you could hear, it almost sounded like she was going to throw up and then tried to swallow it back down. Acid reflux. That's what that was. That's what I figured out that was. And I learned that it was Gerber that was giving her the acid reflux. I don't know if it was too broken down for her. It was too watery. A lot of times they thicken up formula for reflux in infants. So I'm really unsure of why the Gerber was doing that with her. But, so I was doing every other bottle until she kept screaming like that, and I just couldn't do it to her anymore. So I switched her back onto the Enfamil jellies. But she had a poop that was normal. After 3 days of the Good Start, she had like a normal, massive, like regular baby poop, and I was so happy that she was unconstipated. But then it's like I can't keep giving it to her because she just screams because she has that like burning sensation in her throat. So I tried doing like a 50-50 bottle of like 1 scoop of Gerber, 1 scoop of Enfamil, because it was pediatrician approved to do that, and that, you know, it might help. It did help with the reflux, but I don't know. She kind of like started doing like this weird, I don't know, like this weird swallowing thing again, but she's not screaming, so I was like, well, maybe it's just the reflux and the Gerber, she just can't handle it. So for now, we're on Enfamil, strictly Enfamil in my breast milk. So it's just been kind of a journey. I know that I've seen like I've switched so many formulas or whatever. Every single one of them was pediatrician approved. Before I switched, every single time I've talked to the pediatrician, and we've analyzed her weight and everything else, and if it was okay to do that. And I was very strict and stern with her. I know a lot of people like to judge parents for what they do, so I'm just letting you guys know that this was all approved through my pediatrician. Every single switch that I made, how long she was on it, and if the time was long enough to see any result at all. So personally, I'm confident in my choices as a parent, that I was doing what's best for my child, and it didn't hurt her in any way. So yeah, so that's kind of our journey. She's still constipated. Yesterday she had like same thing, like it was like a big ball of poop, and then followed by like regular baby poop. Like it looked like my breast milk poop almost. It was just normal baby poop, but she still had that like almost like a clog at the very beginning of her poop. And I don't know why I'm considering prune juice, because it's not softening up, and she's been pooping every day, but it's been a struggle to get her to get to that point. And when she poops, she's out for hours. It's like it just keeps her awake. She's not screaming. She doesn't seem uncomfortable by it at all, but she's definitely not, you know, it's definitely not normal. I'm trying to poop, baby. I know. So that's that, I guess. It snowed like crazy here. We got like 4 inches of snow. It's 9 degrees outside. So getting her out of the house isn't really happening. at all, to be honest. It's just too cold for her. I'm exhausted. Oh, she slept really good last night though, but I'm still tired. So I think that's all the update I have for you guys. I think that's it. If I'm missing anything, feel free to ask me questions in the comment section and I'll address them at the next video. I'm going to try to do videos weekly again. Now that I've kind of gotten into the routine of her and everything else, like I've kind of gotten more used to being a mom, and she's sleeping better and she's staying awake during the day and she's not as fussy and she doesn't need my attention constantly. Like I can put her in like a swing for a while and she'll be okay. So I'll probably try to make videos more often now. But I think I've covered the last 2 months for you guys. As I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. My Instagram has so many videos of her and pictures of her. That's pretty much all my Instagram is about now, is her. If you guys want to go ahead and follow me for like pictures and updates, like little updates and things like that, that's probably the quickest way to get them. So I will let you guys see her for a little bit. See, I'm half asleep. Yeah. She laughs and she smiles at Mom. Oh, then you got a hair on your face. And we like looking at ourselves in the camera. Yeah. Are you falling asleep, sweetie? Stop, Zoom. Get away. Say hello, everybody. She has started to lose some hair at the top of her head, of course. But her hair's turned almost dirty blonde, which is what mine was. Or mine was when I got older. I was born with really blonde hair, so she's probably going to have my sister's hair color. Definitely not Dad's. Dad's is very dark. Say hi to everybody. You gonna say hi? You're just gonna mean mug everybody, huh? I know, you're trying to poo. She still has that birthmark in the middle of her forehead. They said that it might go away, but it's not really looking like it. This is okay with us, isn't it? And he's jealous as crap. They all are, which is understandable, but they're just very, very, very jealous, and they constantly want my attention, and I just don't have enough attention for everybody. What are you doing? Oh, we're trying to poo. Okay. So that's that, guys. I think that's all I have for you today. She's making me tired, so hopefully we'll both get adapted. So, as I said, feel free to ask me questions and I'll address them in the next video. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me this long and seeing how far we've come and everything. It's a great experience to share with everybody. So I will see you guys next week. Bye. Say bye.